Hi there viewers, welcome to episode 29 part 3 of Full Spinnaker Ahead. In this episode my dad joins us for a trip out to the Great Barrier Reef's bait and hook reef. It's a pristine no wind day. We start the trip crossing the shipping lanes on the way out to the reef. It's a cargo ship.
Container scale your eye or something.
Yeah, I think he looks like he's going to come. We're going to come pretty close to him. Just heading out to the bait reef for the first time with the snubber and Papa Senior, and the wind has been on the nose initially and then now it's basically an easterly, and we're making way but not fast at the moment, about 3 knots, and we just sort of come in sight of a heap of boats in the distance. They appear to be just parked in the middle of the ocean. I don't know if you can see them, but they're just there, and they're all just parked at Bait Reef, enjoying the coral and stuff like that, I'm assuming. And as I said, it's the first time I've been out here, so with my own boat. Doing 3 to 4 knots, that's about it. Now we'll just sneak up to Bait Reef. There's moorings there that we can stay on, not recommended unless it's really calm, but I think it will be really calm, so we'll drag one of them if we can, otherwise we'll have to go another 5 miles to Hook Reef and anchor. So it's all good fun with my dad. He got here yesterday, and hopefully we can see some nice coral and have another nice day today. It's meant to be calm. So I call it a new world out here because it just looks different. The reef is under the water and only exposed at low tide. So you drive out here and you can just see the boats there, but you can't really see much else. You can see the water slightly breaking over the reef there, and you see a bit of a colour change, but on high tide it just looks like a big open ocean, and then you just see these boats parked there. And that's what I mean by the new world. All the action is under the water, and it's good action too. So we're in Australia, in Queensland. We started from Airlie Beach. And we sailed past Hayman Island out to the outer reef. This is the closest reef, Bait and Hook Reef. And then we anchored in amongst some bommies and then went snorkeling. The first thing that impressed upon me was the clarity of the water. And the second thing was I felt a little bit vulnerable because I was in the middle of the ocean with nothing, no headland or anything to protect us from the wind. So it's just really important to know what wind's coming, and it was calm for today and tomorrow. I found the glass bottom boat really good value. It was good for my dad too. He could sit in the boat and look at all the stuff under there without having to put a snorkel and a mask on. And you just can cruise and just leisurely cruise over the top, and you just can see what's going on out underneath. It was awesome. So the next morning, it was a beautiful calm morning and the tide was starting to run. We had a little snorkel and we got going, and I totally forgot that I wanted to fly the drone and thought that I would try it while we were moving, so my dad took the helm. So I launched the drone, that is, and as soon as it took off the deck, it just disappeared and almost took the rigging wire out. And I suddenly realised how fast we're going. As you can see by the plotter there, we were doing 9 knots. So it all went to pear-shape pretty quickly as I handed the helm over to my dad, and we turned around and mowed it into the current to try and reduce our speed, because as soon as the drone got up, I got some altitude and lost sight of the drone. So by the time we turned the boat around and pointed into the current to slow ourselves down, I couldn't see the drone anymore. And started to have flashbacks of the St Helens episode where I lost my drone into the ocean. Anyway, this time happened to spot the drone, flew it in and landed it with a snatch landing, and it was a bit of a lesson learned, I suppose, but got the adrenaline going there for a while. Back to the mainland, Pinnacle Point, Hook Island. But have a look at this place. It's just, there's no wind at all, and there's just things floating past. There's dolphins, there's sea snakes, there's bait fish. It's unreal. It was just an awesome place just to sit on the front of the boat and stare. Way back, we had to miss out on Whitehaven Beach and Hill Inlet, coming out of Hook Passage, coming through the passage actually, both engines on, and one of the engines just made a bit of a rumbling sound. Well, it wasn't the engine, it was just a rumbling sound, and I put it into neutral, and then with a bit of further investigation realised that the prop wasn't turning with it in, well, supposedly in gear. So a bit of further investigation shows that there's nothing wrong with a prop or anything. It's just that the gearbox won't go into gear. So we decided to start motoring back, but we don't really have the wind. We just got the wind on the nose basically, so we're motor sailing back, doing about 4.5 knots, coming past North Mole Island. Put a little bit of a abrupt halt to the trip, but better to do that than risk not getting back from Whitehaven. So with a little bit of further investigation down the track, we found the drive plate failed, the gears in the drive plate. That's the part that's failed. You can see that first inch has just got nothing, and then there's a spline on the other part of it, and that slides on pretty good. But that's not the bit that we can slide on. That's the bit there that goes in like that, and as you can see, that just, she doesn't want to turn. So I think, I can't believe it didn't make more noise. The transmission, and so we've got this hex machined into the input shaft on the transmission. So the fit should be good. It's probably not the ideal design scenario, but it's, the gears are expensive to buy, the gear sets. They're like $3,000 something dollars. I'm up in Morton Island where I want to get going, get home. So we've come up with that. We might be phasing these gearboxes out because of the expense of all the parts and everything, or we might, because we need to really put a dampening plate in there as well. But so we've remanufactured these with a hex as well, and we're going to put them in like that. I think it's a great solution. It's $1,800 it costs to get two plates made and two shafts on these gearboxes. So I'm going to have a spare gearbox. There's one still chuffing along. I figured that get a spare. I already had a spare gearbox, so I got the spline machined on it as well. So we can have that sitting there. If something else goes wrong, we'll just change it over, and that should at least get us home. And if not, it might be a permanent solution. But it's been a good trip with Pop, and hopefully we can do a few more. We're going to try and get behind North Mole, just there, for a bit of lunch and maybe a swim, hopefully, because we've got the rest of the day to get back to Airlie, which is about 5 miles away or so. So we might as well do that. Righto, just keep making the most of it. So we come across Marty in his trimaran Kiss on the start of his southern journey back down to, ended up being Tasmania, I think. Yeah, so that's the end of this episode. Next episode, episode 29 part 4, and then it'll be back down to Victoria. I'll see you then.